Welcome back. Quess Corp is in focus as the company withdraws its merger plan for Allsec Technologies. Guruprasad Srinivasan, the CEO at Quess Corp, is now with us on the show now. Good morning, sir. This is Rima here. First, if you could tell us what led to this withdrawal plan by you. The merger with Allsec, first you all had plans to buy it, you all had announced it in 2019, then in June of 2022 you had announced even the share swap ratio. So what changed for you?
Perfect. Good morning, Harima. And, as you said, way back in 2019, we invested in Allsec Technologies. So Allsec Technologies has two kind of businesses. One is the customer lifecycle management, international customer lifecycle management, and second is a payroll platform business, which we typically call it as a platform business, has capability to manage multi-currency, multi-country payroll. Way back, we invested in 2019, and June this year, we started integrating the company into Quess's platform in terms of leveraging the technology, leveraging our efficiencies plus customer base across. And as part of our corporate structure simplification, we moved the process to integrate into Quess way back in June 2022 this year. We decided this almost about 6 months ago, and overall market scenario in itself is constantly undergoing a change. And it is in a way of time elapsed mode at the moment, and in the interest of both the shareholders as well as the proposition in itself, we have taken an interim decision to withdraw the process, and then we'll relook at an appropriate time.
But you said you'd already started integrating their payroll management as well as that lifecycle management business of theirs, right?
So if you look
at
what
happens to that?
So as part of the process, Quess has a very large customer base, access to large customer base, and we leverage our customer base across all our investing companies, and that would continue. Nothing would change on that. It is just probably an administration effort that would have come down if the integration process would have happened well. Considering the situation now, we have deferred for time being, but otherwise, all the plan that we have on course will continue, whether leveraging the customer base, leveraging our technology process, all of that would still continue to be as it is.
You're saying you've just deferred it for the time being, so there is a possibility that it could happen in the near future?
Absolutely. We'll relook at an appropriate time, yes.
Okay, you'll relook at an appropriate time. Can you tell us whether there were any sunk expenses in this transaction and any more such deals that you'd be looking at?
Not really. There is no any major sunk expenses. It's only the transaction fees that we work with the advisory panel, but otherwise there is no other major expenses because Quess already holds about 73% stake in Allsec Technologies, and a lot of synergies are already built in. So there's no major expenditure at the moment in this merger process.
Okay, so what you are saying is that Quess owns Allsec. It has a 73% stake. That investment stays on course. The integration of the businesses continues, but your plan to merge Allsec into Quess is dropped as of now. The two will operate as independent entities as things currently stand. Are we getting it right, sir?
Absolutely, that's the way to look at it. And the only way integration would have little reduced our administration aspects at the back end, but nevertheless, it does not make a huge difference at the moment.
What was it in the current market conditions that you thought that a merger is not prudent right now?
That's right. That's right.
No, but what was it, sir? It's anyway a company owned by you.
That's right. So if you look at, it's two different set of businesses, right? So Allsec is in a platform business, and Quess, we are into business services. And when you look at the swap ratio, the share price way back had in terms when we announced Quess was trading around 630 and Allsec was about 430. And post which Q2, there are a lot of market conditions that we have seen undergoing a change. And the swap ratio does not really justify at the moment for us to proceed on this.
Okay, so at the moment you don't want to go ahead with this. Got that. Let's move on and talk about the business as well. How is the hiring landscape at the moment? How many clients of yours have announced job cuts? How many have indicated that there will be job cuts? And what's the outlook for the next year?
Sure. In two parts, as we continue to say in the sector of IT, yes, definitely we are not seeing a major hiring that is happening, especially IT services have definitely slowed down. I mean, end of Q2 in itself. Q3, I would say still they are almost muted. I think the indicators that we are seeing currently specific to technology is sometime in mid of Q4, that is post Feb is when the project should start slowly rolling back. That's the kind of indicator what we are assessing at the moment. Barring that, if I were to take the other sectors, supply chain, e-commerce, and manufacturing are three, I would say, active entities which are continue to hire. But however, I would say that the open positions are not as anticipated as we are. It is easily down by at least about 40% generally, if I were to compare where we stand with regard to open mandates in Q3. So it's a kind of wait and watch.
This open positions lower by 40% are in which sectors year on year?
So if you look at this time, see, generally Diwali is a season which ends during November, and this time Diwali was also early. The season spike, what we typically call it as, ended by end of October. Otherwise, it would have generally, prolonged up till end of November. So that's one contribution. But of course, the largely retail and consumer durable retail sectors would have definitely hired in that extended period of Diwali, but that is slightly tapered down for Q3.
I think it's showing up in your stock as well. I mean, the stock in the last 12 months has, halved. It's down almost 50%. So I guess that caution is showing. Can you tell us what's the outlook on headcount addition in the second half of the year? I mean, I think in Q2 you had about 504,000. So given that there is some amount of caution, what do you think you could do in the second half of the year?
So certain things. Last year, I mean, just to give you a comparative, if I take last full year, we added about close to about 57,000 headcount, that is FY22. And this year in H1 itself, we have added about 60,000. So H1 has been good in terms of the comparative headcount. What we are witnessing at the moment is, of course, there's some level of slowdown. However, Q4, we are hearing, slowly the economy opening up, and few of the sectors which are seeing to be green shoots for us. But however, we are working on certain cost optimization as well at an organization level. So I'm sure, I think we are getting prepared by Q4 to start the FY24 in a big way. So that's how the outlook is currently. So.
Very quickly, Mr. Srinivasan, could you tell us what would be the number of your big clients, your top clients that you are very important for your business? What would the number be?
So by sector, if I were to go, banking and financial sector would be the...
And on the whole, do you have like 100 big clients? Do you have 500 big clients? What would the number stand for you?
So across, I mean, if I take across Quess, we would be about 3,000 plus customers.
How many of these?
Unique contracts that we call it as.
Okay.
We work more than about 3,000 customers in every sector.
Got it. So 3,000 unique customers. So how many of these would have announced, hiring freezes for next year in your indication, or how many of them have announced layoffs, just to get an indication of the economy?
That would not be a relevant. I mean, that would not be a straight answer there, because I'll tell you, it depends from segment to segment. Startup has a very different environment. So we are seeing, in fact, we have the layoffs that we have seen, or the kind of downsizing that we have seen is largely in tech and tech-related startups, where our exposure is very low. We work with mid-tier and above set of companies. So in our ecosystem, if I were to look at, our mandate would have come down by about 40%. If I were to, that's how we compare between how many open mandates do we sit on, and compared to last year at the same time. So that would have come down by about 40%. But otherwise, it is not a straight number of companies who would be laying off. That is not the right measure for us to look at.
Okay, all right, Mr. Srinivasan, thanks a lot for stopping by and speaking to CNBC TV18. That's the word coming in for Quess Corp on the deal pipeline and the way forward for the company. Let's do one thing. Let's just take a quick break on the